Hey there, everybody. It's the Modern Native. Beautiful winter morning. So, I wanted to share with everybody my thoughts and views on what makes a true survivalist. Now, if you research the definition, you look on Google, as that is the place to search everything, it tells you that a survivalist is somebody preparing or training for social, economic, or natural disasters, such as a doomsday prepper, but they also include bushcrafters, um, preppers, and there was like four other things on the list. But it doesn't give like a definition as to what survivalism is, what a survivalist is. So I wanted to share my views on it, which is it's not training, it's not what you acquire as far as like your preps. It's not stockpiling things, it's not living off grid. It's a mindset. When it comes down to it, it's a way of life and a mindset as far as how you do things, how you behave, your awareness, the thought process that you go through. Throughout my life and throughout my experiences, I've realized that at any point in time, my life could be in danger. I could come to bodily harm. Now, that could be from a random criminal, someone who has an issue with me back when, in my past. Could just be from some dumb stuff, like something as simple as just going throughout my day, going collecting firewood. When I'm felling a tree, branch could snap off, drop and kill me. Tree could fall the wrong way, pin me, and I'm freezing to death. Going down to the creek and getting my buckets of water, I could slip in, get dragged underneath the ice shelf. I'm drowned, freezing to death. Something. Even splitting the wood, right here in front of the cabin. My axe head is starting to break, right below the head on the handle. I could have hit a hard spot, snap the head right off, and it flings back and hits me in the skull. I'm unconscious on the ground, bleeding out of my head. Or an instance like when I was working on farms out in Washington. I was moving a chicken coop. My help wasn't helping me that much, and chicken coop was kind of heavy, so I was moving it, and it got stuck on a T-post. It's one of those 8-foot ones with green T-post with the white cap, the white top on it, and it got bent back like a bow. Now, when they've bent before, they've just bent. Didn't think nothing of it. So I stepped forward, shoved it off, but I lost my balance and kind of went forwards. But that thing came up and sprung, caught me right in the middle of my forehead. Left a gash and fractured my skull. Set me back 2 steps up onto my feet. Took my bandana off and I just leaked. That could have been a lot worse. I could have been dead on impact. So it's throughout these experiences, throughout this lifestyle, throughout my life, I've learned that you need to have a situational awareness. You need to change your thought process. It's being prepared or aware that the unexpected can happen. And training yourself to process that as it happens, to think about the different scenarios that could happen at any point in time. And you train yourself a bit at a time to think about, if this happens, I'll do this. If that happens, I'll do that. Can't prepare for everything, can't think of everything. I think of 100 different scenarios every time I'm doing anything. Even just walking down the road to take the short that I made. Can think of it. A dozen things that could have happened on my way down. Or when I'm out deeper in the woods, going on a hike, camping, even getting firewood down the road. There's bears, coy dogs, coyotes, feral, mangy, rabid-ridden foxes come out of nowhere. If I'm not paying attention, I'm not being mindful, something happens. So, the reason I say a true survivalist isn't what you do. It isn't the preps that you make. It isn't the training or the skill sets that you have. It's a mindset. Always expect the unexpected. But that's an oxymoron. Because if it's unexpected, you can't expect it. And that just kind of boils around to just understanding that there are many things out of your control. But what you can control is yourself, your mind, your thought process. To develop a way of thinking that when something happens, you can be ready to snap into action, to move, to react. Never let yourself get caught in that freeze moment. Like when something is happening and people see it in slow motion, but they just can't bring themselves to act. I'm always that person who moves just before it happens. Don't know how that happens, but I see that scenario right about ready to play out, and I'm running for it. When I was a kid, in middle school, a buddy of mine was screwing around, and he ran up, messed with somebody. Somebody got upset about it, and was chasing him. The school was up on top of the hill, and on the left side, it was a sheer drop. Now, we go down that hill all the time, but you have to do it controlled. You have to be careful when you're going down it. I don't know what it was. I saw him running, saw him being chased, and he turned and went towards the hill. I already took off running. As soon as I saw him turn, he was still about 100 feet away from the hill, from the drop-off. I just started bolting. I ran up. Before he even got shoved, I jumped the guardrail. I started running sideways across the hill. And as I'm running, he gets shoved. And I see him up the hill. He gets shoved as I'm running across. And he tumbles ass over tea kettle down the hill. Midway through the hill, there was these large drainage ditches filled with rocks. And some of them were like a 6-foot drop. I meet him as he's tumbling, just as he's about to go into one of those ditches head first. I tackled him and threw my body across him. My lower end slid into the ditch, but I was able to pin him to the hill and stop him from continuing tumbling down. He broke his leg in 3 spots because of the tumble, but if I hadn't caught him, even the paramedic said at that drop, at that angle, the way he was going, he would have snapped his neck easily, broke his back. One way or another, that would not have turned out good for him, and he would have possibly died. So because I was moving before the situation even happened, I saved him. That was like right at the beginning when my mind started working like a survivalist. So, those are just some examples and some thoughts for you to process and try to adapt to maybe help you in the future while you're doing things to be a survivalist. Until next time, get out there, be a native, and go beast.